presentation from the Weather Channel. Some people chase storms, others are chased.
That one hit the car, folks.
Ahead, the Weather Channel takes an in-depth look at the 1996 tornado season. Meet people who had frightening brushes with tornadoes and see some of the most incredible video ever taken as we go on Tornado Chase 96.
Keep going, keep going.
But maybe a widely scattered afternoon shower.
During the spring of 1996, Dave Dahl's passion for weather turned him into an avid storm chaser. Dahl, chief meteorologist and main weather anchor at KSTP in Minneapolis, headed out with a 5-person crew, experienced chasers Mike and Fran Pike, 2 KSTP photographers and 1 producer. Destination, Tornado Alley. Mission, to catch some tornadoes on tape for a KSTP special series. After analyzing the weather and checking in with the National Weather Service in Kansas City on April 18th, Dave decides the best bet is to head toward Illinois.
Baseball-sized hail reported here, and now that cell is probably drifted down to here, and we're right almost in the comb.
Wow. We got a fly.
The crews kept in touch by radio.
Hey, Dave, that thing's going to put down a tornado. It's really intensifying.
We've got a funnel. Maybe we should.
Yep, funnel pump. Definitely funnel. Yeah, there's a funnel pump forming. Can we stop and get some film of this?
That is really spinning nicely. That's the wall cloud, and it's falling right in behind it. But the whole thing is rotating.
Wow. This time, though, the storms did not cooperate. Although promising so much, no tornado developed.
Boy, that's a beautiful sunset. Gee. Well, doggone it, we came close. We were about as close as we could be. The only tornado warning issued. We were right there.
Day 1 was exciting, but nothing could have prepared them for the drama of Chase Day 2.
Conditions were perfect, hot and humid day. Very strong south wind. I hadn't seen a south wind that strong, sustained south wind like that ever. It was at about 32 sustained, gusting to over 40 miles an hour. So it was a perfect setup for a tornado.
The group from KSTP proceeds west, follows the storm along Highway 36 just west of Springfield, Illinois. By 6 p.m., the action really heats up.
Tourism Weekend has issued a tornado warning effective until 6:15 p.m. for people in the following location.
Yeah, there it is. Look to the left.
What do you want to do?
Up and onto the underpass.
Yeah, we'll use the underpass as protection.
10-4, get the underpass.
Either one of those 2 spots. Either that spot or that spot. There it goes. It's coming down. It's reaching down.
Look at the cone on that thing.
Coming all the way down. It's getting rain wrapped. We're not going to be able to see it, Russ.
Yeah, I can see it.
Right above that clump of trees.
Yep, right above it.
Man, that's huge. The big one, John. The big one. There's debris. Debris. See the ground? Coming right at us. Here it comes, guys. It's getting closer. You can feel the inflow. It's now sucking here. The semi should not take off. Right. Look at it. Look at it. Oh, my God.
Here, dude.
Car just got flipped over. Get in the ditch. Get down. Passing, there's debris on the ground. And it's passing over 36 right now. There's the funnel right above us. Let's go. Look at the debris. Get down. Don't look. Here it comes. bad. Look, great. Okay, it's passing by us just barely. Yep. Never been this close.
Luckily, nobody is hurt. The tractor-trailer which left the overpass is blown over, as is another truck. The crew dust themselves off and continues the chase. As they drive, more tornadoes sweep through the area. This one was captured on home video as it moved into the town of Decatur around 8:30 p.m. The KSTP crew follows the storms into Decatur. Elation at being so close to a twister is followed by a dose of reality. They get to see the destructive power of a tornado.
I've never been so scared in my life. I've never been anything like that. It's just unbelievable. You just can't imagine the intensity of it.
It was not until the next day that the true extent of the tornado's destruction was evident.
We haven't spent the night.
Dave was given this first-hand account of the storm.
And suddenly the hail stopped, and you could see a wall of heavy rain moving very rapidly toward the home. There was a sudden whoosh of wind. We could hear debris flying, and then stillness. And it lasted no more than 30 seconds.
These were not the only storms on that April night. Station WICD videotaped this tornado in Urbana, Illinois. Many chasers chased for years without seeing a single tornado. But in just 3 days, the group from KSTP saw enough action to last a lifetime. The day under the overpass will always live with them.
It was unbelievable. I can't remember ever having that kind of a thrill. It's a thrill that people can't imagine that they want to put themselves in front of a tornado. But if it's something that you've dreamt about all your life, you really want this to happen, and you can't believe it. You can't even believe it when you're hearing it. You can't believe it when you see it. And so when I first saw it, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that it was actually happening, and we had, 6 people there and 4 cameras on this one tornado. I thought, wow, why was this my day? But it was a thrill of a lifetime.
Climatologically, the best area for chasing tornadoes in May and early June is the Texas Panhandle. This year, storm chasers once again converged on that region, hoping for some panhandle magic.
Yeah, the viewpoints are
One of those was professional storm chaser Warren Fadley. Every spring for the last 10 years, he has made Amarillo, Texas, his home.
Every morning when I get up, there's that element of mystery, the enigma of not knowing what you're going to see that day. And no matter how bad of a year it is, no matter how bleak it looks, this is West Texas and anything can happen. And that unknown, every single day when I'm out here is really what keeps me going, because I know sooner or later I'm going to see something. It's just a matter of when and where.
On this day, Warren, as he does on many chase days, starts at the National Weather Service office in Amarillo. He checks the latest information for favorable conditions.
Hopefully if something forms back south and comes through here, we're in good shape. But or if it moves up even further north, of course, there's a couple hours drive up there, so we'd have to be leaving the next hour to really have any chance of getting daylight.
For the next hour, Warren analyzes the latest meteorological information, temperature, dew points, and wind direction. Many agonizing decisions have to be made. Which storm should he chase today? Warren needs to place himself in the best position to capture tornado images on film. He takes a last look at the latest surface observations, then scans the horizon. It looks promising.
He's looking pretty darn healthy in just a little bit of time. It's amazing. It's amazing how quick that can change. Go from relatively nothing to a substantial storm in just a few minutes.
The chase is on. Warren heads north on Highway 287 through the small Texas town of Dumas.
The initial towers are going up 5:14 p.m. There is a tornado watch, which is roughly from 20 miles south of Amarillo running up towards Dodge City. Right now, everything's looking just right, and it's still relatively early, so we've got a good chase on our hands right now.
Warren drives through the very flat West Texas countryside. The storms he's following start to collapse. A promising day is beginning to look like a bust. Just as Warren thinks of heading back to Amarillo, new storms develop.
This is living proof that you should never turn your back on a storm and give up until it's really gone. This thing looked like it was dying just about 15, 20 minutes ago, and now it's obviously becoming a lot stronger. You can almost see some low-level wrapping in here, so maybe we'll have some panhandle magic here.
Warren drives to a place where a tornado could develop.
Oh, look at that. That's a base. We got a lowering. Look at it.
A mad scramble ensues. He places his film camera in the best position.
Boy, that could drop a tornado any second. The wall cloud, the storm has just literally exploded in the last 20, 30 minutes. It was nothing, and it went right into it looks like a supercell wall cloud here you can see under the rain-free base. And there's been one or two very small areas underneath that look like circulation, but it's hard to tell. It may have been something, a downdraft.
This time a tornado did not develop, but it was oh so close.
You see a lot of people mistake those for tornadoes. But it's linear, it's moving out.
The day's chase has ended next to a noisy water pump in a field just outside Perryton, Texas.
I think we came pretty close to seeing it.
This day turned out to be typical for the season in the Texas Panhandle. For many tornado chasers, it was a very frustrating year.
Well, in all of my years chasing, which is almost 10 years out here, and from talking with other chasers who have been chasing out here for 20 years or more, this is probably the most inactive season that anyone can remember. For tornadoes, it's just been a total bust.
While the lack of tornado activity was discouraging for the chase community, it was good news for the residents of the area. While Warren cruised the plains looking for the classic storm to photograph, other chasers chased for very different reasons. Researchers from the University of Oklahoma in Norman spent their spring traveling through the same area as Warren. They had a different mode of transportation. They were in their Doppler radar on wheels. The radar looks into storms and searches for developing tornadoes. The researchers hope to get very close to a twister and capture its complete life cycle on radar.
Of the two, this one's the most impressive.
Yeah.
And it's got really strong building on the back side.
Yeah. No, I can tell this one is probably, you have that one back there, but this one's sort of out ahead.
The radar gives them an advantage over other chasers as they move through southwest Kansas.
That's why we have the radar out here to see, exactly, what the storm looks like, before it puts out a tornado, and, if this one has the characteristics to do it or whether it doesn't, and that's all part of the research that we're doing right now.
The radar scans the storms looking for possible cloud rotation.
And that's pretty good, and then up, as the storm's going up, you can see in the anvil, you see a lot of this mammatus and the stuff really hanging down. It's a lot of the vertical motion in the storm. The storm appears to be not moving that fast. It's sort of coming at us slowly and moving a little bit to the north.
Getting as close as possible to the storm gives researchers the best possible data.
So it's an interesting area. So far it hasn't done anything, but we're just going to scan it and watch it and hope that something does develop.
Scanning the clouds pays off.
Okay, now we're getting a little spin up there. That's getting good. That might be moving the direction here a little bit too much here.
Oh, yeah.
You said it's 2 kilometers away. It's got to be getting closer. Ref was good.
Oh, man.
I know.
Classic LP.
Oh, yeah.
There's actually a funnel off the ground. Okay, you're seeing just the big mesocycles wrapping up. You see the cone sticking, a little funnel sticking down at the cloud base. It's not extending down to the surface, but then occasionally off that dust swirl, you can see a funnel coming up, just dust rising right into it, and just a nice swirl. Couldn't ask for a better location to get a picture.
Dr. Josh Werman, the leader of the group, analyzes the tornado from the radar screen inside the truck.
How's it looking, Josh?
Looking okay. It's still a mile away. You guys keeping an eye on it visually?
Yes, we are. There's really not much cloud-based rotation at this point we can see.
After 10 to 12 minutes, the tornado dissipates, but the excitement level is still high. It's early afternoon, and it looks good for other development. As the researchers move, an impressive dust devil develops right on the side of the road.
Perfect location again. That's definitely very interesting. Keeps going.
Not very far away.
No, it's not very far. That's right where the road where we came from. We might actually have to bust a little far south to get out of its way.
The researchers scan a new storm to the west.
You can still see some circulation on the ground there.
Oh my God, look at that.
That's just, wow.
The rear flank downdraft surges toward the Doppler on wheels. Winds gusting up to 70 miles an hour slam dirt and sand into everything. Night falls, the chase day draws to an end.
For us, it was a great day because that's the closest tornado we've gotten with radar data. And it was a more representative tornado. Last year we got a couple very large ones, but they're not representative of typical tornadoes.
With no storms forecast in the area, the researchers take the next day to examine data from the day before.
Being there, we can actually confirm that this was in fact an F1 tornado. It was fairly large, but not that intense. That's actually quite interesting for us because most tornadoes are like this. They're F1 type tornadoes. So learning about how this one formed and also what the wind structures are will teach us a lot.
The data collection was excellent. The radar captured the storm from start to finish. This kind of information will help researchers and forecasters in the future to determine where tornadoes are more likely to form and in turn give the rest of us ample warning. Next on Tornado Chase 96, we join other storm chasers as they look for and find the ultimate tornado.
Get weather forecasts for over 900 cities nationwide any time of day on the Weather Channel website, www.weather.com. No place on earth has better weather.
This clothing store has great selection, but I run 250. All right, 260. And in my size, that selection is pretty thin. Well, I found a place that has great clothing selection for big guys. Tall guys, too. The king-size catalog. Look, brand names, good prices, and perfect fit no matter what size you are. And convenience? Just pick up the phone and call. All the top designers, selection, colors, quality, all for big and tall men only. Shirts too short? King size, perfect fit. Squeezed on neck size? King size, perfect fit. They've got everything in here. Shirts, slacks, shoes, jackets, jeans, just for us big and tall guys. Hey, extra long ties, too. The king size catalog, all for big and tall men only. Only.
If you're a big and tall guy, be sure and write down that number and give us a call. Every item is guaranteed for quality and fit. King size, perfect fit. King size.
It's coming to your town. It's coming to your street. It's coming to your home.
Coming right at us.
Twister. For sale on video October 1st.
Mike Klein's been my State Farm agent for 9 years, and he's been a coach in the community for 3. He's as dedicated to those kids as he is to his policyholders. The most important thing that I can do right now in my life is to protect my family in the future. The way he handles my life insurance shows it's important to him, too. My other friends who have State Farm life insurance say the same thing about their agents. You know, I think there is something to this good neighbor business.
State Farm is there. This Subaru Outback is pretty impressive.
What wrong there?
It gets better gas mileage than a Cherokee, holds a turn tighter than a Blazer.
Don't forget acceleration.
Acceleration?
That's right. Goes 0 to 60 faster than an Explorer.
Competition must be worried.
Oh, yeah. They're scared stiff. Subaru Outback, the world's first sport utility wagon.
Visit your nearest Subaru dealer today to experience the beauty of all-wheel drive.
Tornado Chase 96 is sponsored in part by State Farm Insurance, Warner Brothers Twister, and Subaru.
What makes up the psyche of a storm chaser? Those men and women who streak out after storms, hoping to catch up with nature's fury. During the '96 tornado season, there was little activity on the plains of Tornado Alley, but a few chasers who ventured out to the area caught up with some storms to remember. Matt Crowther and his wife Betsy, along with several other chasers, captured this magnificent supercell on May 22nd near Benkelman, Nebraska.
Here goes rising dust. They'll get something out of that.
We certainly do have a tornado. Not the best contrast in the world, but what the heck.
Fritz Cruz began his chase heading north, just south of Ness City, Kansas, where he spotted a wall cloud.
Good rotation.
Southwest Kansas. The counties involved in this launch from 10 o'clock tonight.
Dust swirls all the way over.
Cruz decides to move. A good decision.
I think we have a tornado. Definite tornado. Little tornado. You can still see a funnel right there.
Minutes later.
Another tornado. Rain wrapped. Wrapped in rain. Maybe 3 miles west of me. About 5 miles east of Ness City. Another touchdown. Large tornado. Multiple vortices. Only about 2 miles from me now. It's getting too close for comfort. We gotta move.
An exciting chase eventually comes to an end.
Well, if we get there.
Sublette, Kansas sits in the southwest corner of that state, right above the Oklahoma and Texas panhandles. A perfect place for spectacular tornadoes, as chasers Al Patrica and Craig Setzer found out on May 25th.
Al, you see what I'm seeing?
rotation.
It's about 1.5 miles away. There's a weak tornado in there. Oh, what a beauty.
Meanwhile, Craig and his wife Christy are closer to the tornado.
Hey, keep going, go fast, fast. We have a large tornado on the ground, approximately 1 to 2 miles west of 83. Oh my gosh. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay, get ready to stop. Okay, oh, wait here, wait here. Perfect.
For Setzer and Patrika, it was the end of a perfect chase. On July 18th, Bill Gargan and his chase partner Sean Lyon captured this tornado on video as it touched down east of Andover, South Dakota, and moved east-southeast in their direction.
Yeah, large tornado on the ground, probably a half-mile wide.
The chasers stopped to get some fantastic shots of the storm.
We've been watching it. A nice cone. It's really rotating. Look at that. It's a pretty violent tornado. And the storm is just going to town. Wow. Roping out tornado. Oh, look at that condensation on the ground. That's classic. Oh, look at that helix. This is awesome. Look at that. That's incredible. Gigantic tornadic supercell. This is a monster storm. Okay.
Within minutes, the chase is over, and Gargan's classic tornado becomes a memory.
Yeah, it's dissipated.
Next, we'll take a look at several tornadoes that affected the lives of many people.
What if your car slips off the road in Slippery Rock? Or you need the name of a mechanic in Mechanicsville? Well, if your car's insured by State Farm, just look up the local State Farm agent. Almost anywhere you travel, whether it's a big metropolis or just a little one, a good neighbor is always nearby to help. So if your car gets stolen in Thief River Falls, or you have some trouble in Paradise, hey, don't worry about it. State Farm is there.
It's coming to your town. It's coming to your street. It's coming to your home.
It's coming right at us.
Twister, for sale on video October 1st.
This Subaru Outback is pretty impressive.
Not wrong there.
It gets better gas mileage than a Cherokee, holds a turn tighter than a Blazer.
Don't forget acceleration.
Acceleration.
That's right. Goes 0 to 60 faster than an Explorer.
Competition must be worried.
Oh, yeah. They're scared stiff. Subaru Outback, the world's first sport utility wagon.
Visit your nearest Subaru dealer today to experience the beauty of all-wheel drive.
It's coming to your town. It's coming to your street. It's coming to your home.
It's coming right at us.
Twister, for sale on video October 1st.
A large destructive tornado is bearing down on two neighbors just to the southeast of Louisville, Kentucky. Local TV station WAVE Channel 3 takes the unprecedented step of breaking into NBC Nightly News.
Okay, here is the deal. We've had a tornado touchdown, semi blown off Interstate 65. We've now had a report of debris in the sky. Tornado going across extreme northern Bullitt County.
Patrolman David Reed was on duty in the Pioneer Village community.
As soon as it popped over the hill, there was no mistake. It was definitely a tornado. Everything was flying. You could see what looked like tops of houses. I'm sure it wasn't. It just looked like it. But there was a lot of debris everywhere.
The calls start to flood into the Bullitt County 911 center.
I'm in Pioneer Village. We have total mass destruction up here.
Advise you have just damage to houses or houses down.
Houses damaged, unable to locate any injured at this time.
The tornado was on the ground for over 10 minutes, at one stage with winds as fierce as 220 miles an hour, an F4 on the Fujita scale. First, it touched down in Brooks, Kentucky, then swept across Interstate 65, knocking over tractor trailers before plowing through the communities of Hillview, Pioneer Village, and Mount Washington. Emergency crews rushed to the scene. They began a house-to-house search, fearing the worst.
I would look at the house and wonder, well, where was you at in that house that you were still alive? And some of the houses, there's nothing but foundations left, and people were in them and lived to it.
Friends and relatives began the frantic search for loved ones.
How many people was there? A wife and kids. How many kids?
I had two.
Okay.
Two, my sister's wife and her kids.
Okay. They're either going to be at the church, at the fire department, or North Bullitt High School. Okay. Everybody that's not injured is going to North Bullitt High School.
The scope of devastation was incredible. The tornado was 1/3 of a mile wide. Whole communities were destroyed in a matter of minutes. The view from above told the story.
When I got up in the air, I still just could not believe that the way everything was twisted, mangled, cars thrown everywhere, people's property scattered for blocks and blocks. You know, I still just could not believe it. Even though I witnessed it come through, I still could not believe it.
Residents got very little warning. Most people took cover when they saw the tornado approach. Taking into account the devastation, it was amazing that only 37 people were injured, and none of them seriously. Unbelievably, no one lost their life. Luckily, the storm had hit around dinner time, and not during the night.
We heard the furniture flying around and hitting the walls, and we heard the roof being torn off the house, and the glass from the windows we could hear it crashing and flying around. It was really, really scary. Really scary.
It was just incredible. I mean, it's still today, it'll send chills down your spine if you sit down and think about the numbers of homes that were damaged, the devastation of the storm, and, you know, every home we went into, you're anticipating that you're going to find someone. And so we were very overwhelmed that no fatalities at all.
Since the tornado, the communities of northern Bullitt County have bounced back. The residents of Hillview, Mount Washington, and Pioneer Village intend to rebuild their homes and lives.
No. It may never come this way again. I could go down the road here a little bit and build a house. It'll all come right through there again.
The tornado and its aftermath have caused many to reflect on that night. John Belsky at WAVE is no exception.
Can't describe the feeling when I found out, no fatalities, very few injuries. When you talk about over 1,000 homes damaged, a lot of them destroyed by it, gives you a good feeling right here. That's what it's all about. Hey, people were listening. People were paying attention. Good for them.
Tornadoes, though, do not always strike in daylight. This was the tragic case in Fort Smith, Arkansas on Sunday, April 21st. A twister ripped through the area just after 11 p.m. Residents received little warning as the storm hampered communication between the National Weather Service and local emergency management officials. 2 children were killed, and at least 50 people were injured. Much of the damage was done in the historic downtown area.
Oh, my God.
People in a small Wisconsin town were more fortunate when they had their own brush with a terrifying tornado in late July.
I've seen them, but nothing like that. That is massive. Oh, my God, your parents' house, honey.
This tornado, captured on home video, swept through the town of Oakfield just north of Milwaukee a little after 7 local time. Joanne Jarabic and her family watched the storm from their porch.
I'm trying to figure out what that's all flying in the air over there.
Trees.
Just look at the size of it. Chunks of stuff. Whatever.
Listen to that noise.
Call Nelson. Tell me that tornado.
You had better hurry, because you're going to be in the basement in a matter of a few minutes here.
The tornado was on the ground for 20 minutes and left a path of destruction for 11 miles. The National Weather Service classified the tornado as an F4, although at one point it did reach F5 with winds over 260 miles per hour. 44 homes and 5 businesses were destroyed. 14 people were injured. Luckily, no one was killed by the storm. 2 days later, a lady in Norton Shore, Michigan, over 125 miles away, found a canceled check from Oakfield. The tornadic thunderstorm and strong upper-level winds had combined to send the check on its marathon journey. 1 week later, this tornado tore through the tiny New Mexico town of Cimarron. The twister ripped through downtown, damaging over 60 buildings. 5 people were injured, but fortunately, no one was killed. This spring and summer, major tornadoes hit various small communities, destroying hundreds of homes and affecting numerous lives. If these storms had hit large metropolitan areas, the amount of death and destruction would have been enormous. Next on Tornado Chase 96, an incredible up-close and personal view of not one, but 2 tornadoes.
Mike Klein's been my State Farm agent for 9 years, and he's been a coach in the community for 3. He's as dedicated to those kids as he is to his policyholders. The most important thing that I can do right now in my life is to protect my family in the future. The way he handles my life insurance shows it's important to him, too. My other friends who have State Farm life insurance say the same thing about their agents. You know, I think there is something to this good neighbor business.
State Farm is there.
It's coming to your town. It's coming to your street. It's coming to your home.
It's coming right at us.
Twister, for sale on video October 1st.
This Subaru Outback is pretty impressive.
Not wrong there.
It gets better gas mileage than a Cherokee, holds a turn tighter than a Blazer.
Don't forget acceleration.
Acceleration?
That's right. Goes 0 to 60 faster than an Explorer.
Competition must be worried.
Oh, yeah. They're scared stiff.
Subaru Outback, the world's first sport utility wagon.
Visit your nearest Subaru dealer today to experience the beauty of all-wheel drive.
It's coming to your town. It's coming to your street. It's coming to your home.
It's coming right at us.
Twister, for sale on video October 1st.
Finding tornadoes is not easy. A great amount of luck is involved. It is even more difficult to capture tornadoes on video. But what if you turned on your TV and saw not one, but two tornadoes live? That's what happened on Thursday, May 30th in Colorado. KCNC TV4 in Denver tracked the severe storms as they swept over the Rockies.
Up and left from that, we have a very strong thunderstorm complex going on in southwest Logan County and Weld County. That has prompted a tornado warning as well. Let's put
the station's helicopter was dispatched to fly toward the storms around Morgan County, 60 miles northeast of Denver. Pilot Mike Silva was at the controls.
Lo and behold, we saw the precursors for some rotation and some tornadic activity, and out pops two tornadoes at the same time. It was pretty amazing. I haven't seen anything like that ever before.
As Chopper 4 flew closer to the tornadoes, they beamed back these unbelievable pictures. The station took the dramatic pictures live in their 4 p.m. newscast.
Some people may have a fear of tornadoes. Copter 4 may have one for us right now. Luann Aiken looks like one. Tell us about it.
Basically, Larry, the funnel that we saw on the left, the tornado on the left has fallen apart. We're now showing you what was earlier seen as a smaller tornado on the right-hand side of this screen. It appeared to fall apart a little bit, and it is building once again, and you see a very distinctive rope in the upper level of that funnel cloud. And as you can see it clearly coming out of a very, very dark cloud. And as the photographer David Gregg tilts down just a little bit, there's a wide and a very expansive debris cloud on the ground.
The chopper hovered only a half a mile away from the tornadoes.
It's not the tornado or the funnel cloud that's dangerous to us in that aircraft. It's the hail. My primary directive is to negotiate the hail, because it's the hail that'll hurt us.
The tornadoes were spectacular. Both classic Colorado tornadoes with a very high cloud base. They were on the ground for 20 minutes, and both had debris bases of over half a mile. The crew of Mike, reporter Luann Aiken, and photographer David Gregg watched the progression of the tornadoes as they continued to move.
It had to have been one of the most exciting in the context of weather chasing, storm chasing, if you will, storm spotting. There's no question. And we've had some big tornadoes in the past, but to have two major tornadoes, this particular size, and being this close to them, and of course being live, it was amazing.
The tornadoes damaged a couple of outlying farmhouses, but no one was killed or even seriously injured. People had received sufficient warning. As Channel 4 viewers watched these amazing scenes from the air, Daniel and Cammie Justin, with their children Emily and Isaac, were driving home from a family vacation in Missouri when they had their encounter with the twin tornadoes. Leaving the tornadoes behind, the Justins continued safely to their home in Greeley. Unlike the Justin family, Mike Cosman was already at home as the tornadoes formed near his property in Morgan County.
Whoa, baby. Oh, my God, this is going to hurt.
Luckily, the tornadoes moved away from Cosman's residence. As this excitement was going on, storm chasers Greg Thompson, Jason Machampkin, and Matt Wolf were having their own adventures south of Fort Morgan.
When we got out of the car in brush and took a look at the situation, we just, figured that the northern storm didn't look as good, that the updraft was narrow, had lots of pockets of holes in it where it really wasn't as strong as the other updraft. So at that point, that's when we really made the decision to go south and southeast from there to the other storm. It was definitely a good decision.
I can see a lowering now starting to develop on the leading side of that updraft. It's really starting to look pretty potent.
At 4:28 p.m. in the flat, desolate countryside, the excitement began.
Okay, look. Oh, yeah! Oh, yeah!
Oh, we have a funnel. We have a nice looking funnel cloud. We are close.
We have a tornado. Circulation on the ground. How much room, Jay? Here? Okay, right after this thing.
Oh, yeah! Oh, wow! Oh, beautiful! Just beautiful! We have a tornado! That's beautiful! Look at that! Oh, look at that! Look at that rotation into it! It's multiple vortex tornado! Oh! Wow! Oh, wow! Oh, look at that. That is spectacular. That's the biggest tornado I've ever seen.
That is the best tornado I've ever seen.
It's huge! Oh, wow!
They were not the only chasers enjoying the spectacular sight. Storm chaser Dean Cosgrove was also very close to the tornado.
There is a tornado on the ground at this time, 1.5 to 2 miles west-northwest of Elba, and it was multi-vortex. Still do have a tornado on the ground at this time. Still there? I still have a large tornado on the ground that appears to have drifted slightly east-northeast. The tornado is getting larger.
He captured these impressive images as the half-mile wide tornado plowed through the fields of eastern Colorado. As both chase groups videotaped the storm, Greg Thompson took these amazing still photographs of the storm's rise and fall.
My still pictures were probably my best I've ever taken on a tornado chase, mostly because of location/lighting. But this was a rare occasion to get a good light band in the background of a tornado. And personally, that was my best chase ever in my 6 years of chasing.
That Thursday was very active in eastern Colorado. In all, on May 30th, there were 6 recorded tornadoes, at least half of them captured on video. Next on Tornado Chase 96, we look at what researchers did this year to understand the makeup of severe thunderstorms.
Get weather forecasts for over 900 cities nationwide any time of day on the Weather Channel website, www.weather.com. No place on Earth has better weather.
So why did you leave AT&T?
I fell for the gimmicks.
And
I'm disappointed. I miss AT&T.
AT&T misses you too. So we're making it easy to come back.
Anything that makes my life easier, I'm for it.
How does up to 100 free AT&T minutes sound?
I like free minutes.
We'll send you AT&T long-distance certificates good for up to 100 free minutes, just for switching back to AT&T.
100 free minutes, I'm there.
There's more. Only AT&T customers can get AT&T True Reach savings. Spend $25 a month and you save 25% to anyone, anytime, anywhere in the U.S. You're covered on every type of call on your AT&T phone bill.
What more could you ask for?
How about this? AT&T puts your savings in black and white.
What have I got to do to come back to you guys?
All you have to do is call 1-800-GET-TRUE, and you'll get up to 100 free AT&T minutes. So, what do you think?
I think we'll switch.
Good decision.
Thank you.
You know what to do.
That's your true choice, AT&T.
What if your car slips off the road in slippery rock? Or you need the name of a mechanic in Mechanicsville? Well, if your car's insured by State Farm, just look up the local State Farm agent. Almost anywhere you travel, whether it's a big metropolis or just a little one, a good neighbor is always nearby to help. So if your car gets stolen in Thief River Falls, or you have some trouble in Paradise, hey, don't worry about it. State Farm is there.
It's coming to your town. It's coming to your street. It's coming to your home.
It's coming right at us.
Twister, for sale on video October 1st.
You have failed me. Wasn't our fault. We had a Subaru Outback. Outback?
Got better gas mileage than our Cherokee.
Held a turn tighter than our Blazer. Brake better than our Explorer. Silence, fools. Just tell me what you need to catch him. Our own Outback would be nice. With a CD player and leather. Subaru Outback, the world's first sport utility wagon.
Visit your
It's coming to your town. It's coming to your street. It's coming to your home.
It's coming right at us.
Twister, for sale on video October 1st.
People chase storms for very different reasons. Some for the thrill, but others in the name of science. This P-3 aircraft belongs to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, and normally flies into hurricanes. But for 6 weeks during the summer of '96, it was one of 3 aircraft used in a project called Stereo, a project which brought together the sciences of meteorology and chemistry.
You cannot decouple chemistry from meteorology, and in that way, what we're doing, I think, is important. Understanding what chemicals are there, how do they get there, how are they distributed, how are they redistributed through processes in the atmosphere, and as well, how are they taken out.
Researchers are attempting to learn more about the chemical makeup of the atmosphere. Thunderstorms mix up the atmosphere by carrying air from lower altitudes to higher altitudes. Scientists can study the transportation of these elements by measuring the atmosphere before a storm develops, during the storm, and then after the storm is over.
They're calling for a 2 o'clock takeoff and a 7-hour flight. It looks like the weather is promising enough to clear up so that we should have some possibly supercell activity.
This plane departed Buckley Air Force Base outside of Denver to fly different routes through the storm and examine it at various altitudes below 15,000 feet. 2 other planes flew through the same storm but at different altitudes. A research plane from the University of North Dakota flew above the P-3, and a specially remodeled WV-57 flew above that at altitudes of over 50,000 feet.
Oh, it's a big adventure for all of us, because one, to make the measurements, but also to be in this environment where you are up close and personal to a thunderstorm and downwind of it, and also to be able to measure it with the array of instruments that are available here.
At Greeley, Colorado, a ground-based crew coordinates the plane's efforts using an advanced research radar known as CHILL.
Stand by for requested information.
Roger. We're in it now. Strong ice crystals in and out. Some dimly visible and going in and out. But we're in strong cloud here.
Colorado State University, another participant in the project, operates the large domed radar.
We can discriminate between big round particles like hailstones primarily and large flattened targets like raindrops. So we can look inside a storm and basically say where the hail shaft is. Even if it's embedded within heavy rain, we can distinguish the rain from the hail component.
To verify the radar data, 2 crews are sent out into the heart of the storm. One crew collects the hail to measure its size and shape, while the other crew scans individual raindrops in real time. Another aspect of stereo is to look closely at lightning. The lightning in thunderstorms produces nitrogen oxides into the atmosphere, and that's one of the key components of photochemistry. The researchers also want to find out where lightning is produced in regard to the position of the storm.
Yeah. This is Fort Morgan flat plate, and this is the eastern uniform lobe. So I think what we want to do is try to cover this right in here. Okay.
2 students from Colorado State are assigned to a third van. Larry Carey and Timothy Lang head out, hoping to find lightning.
Okay, so we're still heading south on 71. Probably hit 14 in a few minutes here, but I would say it's going to take us a good 45 minutes to get all the way back to 85.
Just like other chasers, the researchers have to be in the right place to get the information they need.
We try and get on the fringe of the storm such that basically our position's tangent to where the storm's moving, so we can get a nice life cycle of the lightning and yet not be in the heavy rain. Because when we're in light rain like this, our measurement's fine, but once we get in the heavy rain, it contaminates data.
After pulling over on a country road in extreme northeast Colorado, they place the apparatus in the open, so it records all lightning strikes, both cloud to ground and cloud to cloud. All electrical discharges are recorded by the computer in the van.
Let's ride it out for now right there, and we'll see what happens. Over.
Roger that,
The storm passes over, but the lightning display was not as spectacular or as frequent as hoped.
Looks like we're about done for today.
As the van starts back to Greeley, another storm develops over the mountain. An impressive lightning display lights up the sky just above the radar facility.
The electrical activity is dying down in that cell now. There's been nothing for the last 4 minutes. Over. Roger, it looks like the cell could be collapsing here, but...
Meanwhile, back in the air, the P-3 is still searching for the right storm to carry out its chemical observations.
We
just got the message from the chill ground radar that some new activity is developing to the east of here. So we're breaking off from the chemistry determination that we have done just a few minutes ago to look at the distribution of the trace gases. Already the other aircraft that is involved in today's study, the citation is on the way over to this new activity.
The plane spends several hours in the storm's environment with scientists taking various measurements of the atmosphere.
First of all, you have to turn raw numbers into something that makes sense, and that takes a bit of work to do to understand what you've actually done. And then the hard part is to assemble all of that and try to understand it as a complete image of what you see, a complete picture of the processes that are going on.
One more pass at another altitude, and the research plane heads back to base. Today was not a bad day.
When this first system died out, another system started to show convective activity, and we moved over and studied the second one. Here again, we got good radar data on several legs at various altitudes.
The stereo project continued through the summer, and researchers were able to study many severe storms. The data they collected will be examined to give the researchers a complete picture of the atmosphere in and around severe thunderstorms. The tornado chase season was coming to an end. For some chasers, it was an active and productive season. For others, it was not. A case of being in the right place at the right time. In retrospect, it was a relatively safe year for the rest of us. Modern technology and continued research has helped to give us more time to prepare, and advanced warning is the key, because once a tornado is spotted, every second counts.
We're lucky, we're alive. We are lucky because we are alive. They came outside and they were really upset and started crying and everything, and I said, hey, there's nothing here. Everything here is material. We're all alive and we're unhurt.
Tornado Chase 96 has been sponsored in part by State Farm Insurance, Warner Brothers Twister, and Subaru.
The power.
The big one. The big one.
The beauty.
Wow. That is spectacular.
The danger.
I've never been so scared in my life.
The Weather Channel presents one of the most fascinating videos you'll ever see. Tornado Chase 96. Call 1-800-626-9477 to order rare, never-before-seen footage of the year's most spectacular storms.
There's debris! Debris!
Tornado encounters from storm chasers all across the United States.
Car just got flipped over. Get in the ditch.
Incredible accounts of tornado survivors.
You just can't imagine the intensity of it.
Tornado Chase 96. To order, call 1-800-626-9477 or send $19.95 plus $3.95 shipping and handling to the address on the screen. Call now.
The Weather Channel. No place on Earth has better weather.